Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast, part of the Summer of Blake 7. Yes, we're already up to episode 8 of 13, DUEL. Ah yes, this is kind of much more Blake 7-y than I would think. This and the next few stories, well, okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves, is a lot more dangerous Federation, scary baddie kind of territory. Is he a terrorist? Is he not? Is he someone with a moral code? Is he the good guy? Is he fighting a rebellion? Or is he just some sort of man with a grudge? Now, yes, the huge elephant in the room is that this story bears a lot of resemblance to the Star Trek story Arena. That's the original TV series. Only Travis really isn't a Gorn. It's Battle Royale, people having a fight for somebody else's entertainment on the pretext of them learning a lesson, so it's more sort of the Hunger Games really, if you think about it. On the face of things, you've got Travis, master tactician, and not at all mentalist, trying to chase down the Liberator, which is already completely exhausted and needs 48 hours to recharge its batteries. It's basically on its last legs. Travis has managed to manoeuvre them into a corner, and he has enough pursuit ships to take them out. 3. Now, when you think in a two-dimensional way, 3 should be enough. But when you're thinking 3 or even 4-dimensionally, in order to try and capture a spaceship of the speed, complexity, and yes, I know, it's just a teleprogram. Let it go. But the setup is important. Travis and his vampire assistants, I'll get to those in a moment, have managed to capture him and his crew. And they want the Liberator for themselves. Except, of course, they don't in this one. In this one, they just want to take Blake out, which is kind of goes against what's said in the next story, but perhaps he's just so far away from home he's going to just say it was collateral damage and take them out. But that's, again, not important. There's some sort of business with a match of the day style TV sports thing where you've got crosses on screens, but you know, that's not bad. It's screen mirroring on a tablet of some sort if you want to use current technology. But that's not important. Nothing ages like the future. Nothing looks so old as people's imaginations of the future from decades past. While this setup of Travis trying to capture Blake and take him out is going on, and the ship's on recharge and they've plugged the Liberator into the nearest socket, they decide, obviously, to use some of the ship's energy and transport down to the planet, thus obviously making the energy drain even worse. They just think, oh, I'll pop down there and have a look round, and when they do arrive, it's kind of the set from Terminator 2. Everything's just graves and gravestones and BBC-style storms in front of a mod rock background. It's polystyrene go-go with one of those really weird statues that you sort of see outside football stadiums. Look at me, knowing about football stadiums. Yeah, you can't have an accent like this without knowing the odd thing about football. Even if the odd thing that I do know about football is that Kevin Keegan's strategy was mainly to be on the attack constantly, hence the differentiation in goal numbers when he was manager of Newcastle United versus other managers. That's it. That's all I know about football. It was explained to me once, I paid attention for those 12 seconds, and that's all I'll ever know. Getting back to this chat. Gan thinks he sees 2 ghostly figures. Old lady, young lady. Of course, his instant reaction is just to go, oh, my limiter's on the blink. Something terrible happened on this world. It's not exactly a tourist spot. Unless you're into dark tourism, which many of us are, and we must talk about that another time. Obviously, somebody detects Travis on the screen and they pop back up to the ship, thus draining more energy. They should have stayed where they were. And they know eventually that in the fight there is only one possible solution, and that's to ram Travis. Meanwhile, 2 of the 3 witches from Macbeth are having a bit of a chat. Yes, we all know the old lady and the young lady just looks chilly. They know that in the skies above them something battle-y is happening, and they decide to intervene and make everything go really, really, really slow, which for Blake 7 means really, 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 really slow. Then you get people beamed down. Well, yeah, they're not even beamed down, they're just kind of kidnapped in a queue kind of way. And that's all fine. And of course, they're taken to a forest bit of the same world. They're both given a companion because, it's always best to have someone to talk to and explain your motivations and actually have dialogue rather than just having people doing stuff on screen and you're trying to figure out what's happening. And this brings us, rather round the houses, to Travis's companion, who is a mutoid. Now, mutoid, a word that nation likes to use, a variation on mutant and all that business, is basically a space vampire. Yes, space vampire. That would be a vampire in space, except not. It's just a person, usually a debutante, who'd had enough of life and rather than kill themselves, put themselves in the mutoid program and were genetically enhanced so that they could live on blood. That makes sense. They were given a lovely black hat that looks like a plant pot and had their memories wiped and turned into super soldiers. As we see in the next story, there's quite a lot of these. They're usually women dressed in leather with strange plant pots on their heads looking a bit pale. Pale women dressed in leather were very popular in the late 70s and very, very popular in the early 80s. And indeed continue to be popular. Mutoids are kind of really cool, but they are just robo-men from Dalek stories. But let's not go there. The fact that the majority of the women is slightly odd, but not really worth going into. I'm sure a great big thesis could be written about that subject, but not by this particular commentator. Women with their minds removed. Are people more than the sum of their memories? It's a commentary on so many things that really I just can't begin to comment. So you've got Ida Blair, Patsy Smart and Carol Royale, well, all playing major roles in this storyline. Yes, somebody pops up a tree and is bitten by a bat and all that kind of nonsense, but basically it's a duel between Blake and Travis. It's an excuse to have the 2 characters in the room together, having a go at each other, and then also walking away. It's a tension builder in the series. It also demonstrates who really is the mental case to the audience. It helps cement what side you, as a reader, as a viewer, actually is on. It's a really involving and invigorating story to watch, and it's only when you think about it later that it begins to lack somewhat. But as this was preceded by the web, it's going to be, well, brilliant in comparison to that sort of thing. So yeah, the Sisterhood of Khan are wandering around just waving at the screen, and everyone learns a lesson except Blake, who already knew the lesson about mercy or something like that. And we all nod very sagely as Travis is discovered to be just a mentalist and has a go at a woman who can't even remember her own name. Yes, the old lady and the young lady are doomed to wander eternity together in a spooky kind of a way. More alien shenanigans, I'll grant you that. So perhaps the odd alien in Blake 7 is acceptable? Perhaps. So until next time, when I'll be talking about Project Avalon. That was not needed, was it? Project Avalon, next time. Till then, be seeing you. You've been listening to the Tin Dog Podcast, available on RSS, iTunes, Stitcher, Audio Boom and Tumblr. Doctor Who and its associated works are copyright of the BBC. No infringement is intended. You can contact the show, donate, buy merchandise, or find out more about my other projects by visiting the Tin Dog Podcast homepage and clicking on the links. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance. On the 5th of September 2015, Hooverville will return. The biggest little Doctor Who convention in the whole of the UK is proud to present several fantastic guests. First off is the Colin Baker, a man who needs absolutely no introduction. Guests also include the author Jenny Colgan, responsible for Dark Horizons and Time Trips, Richard Marson, the man behind JNT, The Life and Scandalous Times, and the brand new book Drama and Delight, the biography of Verity Lambert, Dan Starkey, the man behind the mask when it comes to Commander Strax, and of course Ian the Elf in the Christmas special, Terence Dix, one of the men behind the Third Doctor and more Target novelisations than you can shake a stick at, the actor David Benson, from Robot of Sherwood, Iris Wildtime and the Scarifiers, Matthew Waterhouse, yes, Adric, Michael Pickwood, the current production manager on Doctor Who, and Karen Louise Hollis, author of The Man Behind the Master, the biography of Anthony Ainley. More guests may be added, but either way, that's a fantastic lineup. Visit the Derby Quad website on www.derbyquad.co.uk and follow the links. Saturday the 5th of September 2015. See you there.
Snyder. Hey, Dylan. Give me a new